Let's understand identity operators and membership operators in Python. First, let's talk about the identity operators. These operators are used to compare the memory locations of two objects. In other words, they check whether two objects are actually same object in the memory, not just they have the same value. So in identity operators, we have two operators. One is operator, then another one is not operator. These two are called identity operators. Let's start with the is operator. Let's say we have a variable called a, and that is equal to a list which holds the value 1, 2, 3. Then let's say we have another variable called b which is equal to a. Then let's say we have another variable called c which is equal to the same list which is 1, 2, 3. Now if I write the print statement and if I write a is b and run the code, you can see the output is true because here we assigned a into b, but the c holds the same list which is also in a. But if I write the print statement again and if I write here a is c and run the code, you'll see the output false. Here a is b. This statement is true because b is assigned to a, meaning they point to the same object in memory. But a is c. This is false because although a and c have the same values, they are two different objects in memory. So remember, the is operator checks if two variables point to the same object in memory, not whether their values are identical. Now let's talk about the second identity operator, which is the is not operator. And this does exactly the opposite task which the is operator does. This operator checks if two variables do not refer to the same object in memory. For example, let's take the previous example with different variable names. For example, p equal a list which is 1, 2, 3. Then let's assign p into q. So q equal to p. Then let's say we have another variable called r which has the identical value of p which is 1, 2 and 3. Now let's take the print statement and let's check p is not q. If I run the code, you will see the result is false because they point to the same object in memory. So p is q. As we are writing the statement p is not q, the statement is false. But if we write the print statement again and if we write p is not r, then this will return true. As you can see, the output is true because although they contains identical values, they are not pointing to the same memory object. That's why p is not actually r. So that statement is true. So the ultimate result here is true. Now let's switch gears and talk about membership operators. Membership operators. These are used to check if a value exists inside a sequence like a list, tuple, string, or set. And the two membership operators are the in operator and another one is the not in operator. Let's say we have a list of fruits which holds a list and the values are apple, then let's say banana, and then we have cherry. Now let's write the print statement, and here if I write apple in fruits and run the code, you will see it prints true. That means apple is in the fruits list. But let's say if I write here cake in fruits and run the code, you can see the output is false because cake is not present inside the fruits list. But again, if I write banana in fruits and run the code, you can see that prints true. So the in operator checks for if the value is a part of sequence, and that can be a list, a tuple, a string, or a set. For example, if I make this to a tuple and run the code, you can see when I write cake in fruits, that returns the result false. But when I write banana in fruits, it returns the result true. Then after the in operator, we have the not in operator, and it does the opposite thing what the in operator does. So for example, let's say we have another list called games, and that list contains football, then cricket, and let's say badminton. So now if I write the print statement, and here if I write cricket not in games and run the code, you can see the output is false. That means cricket is not in games. This statement is false because cricket is present, as you can see in the games list. But let's say if I write here chess and run the code, you can see the statement now is true because chess is not in the games list. If I write the print statement again, and if I check if the football is not in games and run the code, you can see this returns the output false because football is there in the games list. So I hope you understood the identity and membership operators in Python and how to use them and why we use them. So that's all for now. See you in the next one.